What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you tune in and you check out the content. Now, with that being said, man, I want to speak on some comments that Ric Bucher made about Rich Paul, right? And basically, Ric Bucher is saying that Rich Paul, the statements that he's been putting out publicly about LeBron James are not true. Right. And so and everybody knew, like when Rich Paul said that LeBron, like there were at least, 10 to 12 teams that were inquiring about him and then he came and did the whiteboard little demonstration and said that, how LeBron James would be helping these teams and stuff like this, right? And so he says that Rich Paul is a basically a fake, a phony, a fraud, and it's all smoke and mirrors, which I agree. But then there's also, in my opinion, like there's another side to it, right? Not that Rich Paul, and I'm trying to let Rich Paul off the hook, but I've never seen a agent asked to do so much with almost nothing to work with. Like if LeBron James, if his game was like that, then Rich Paul wouldn't be put in a position where he has to make up these, and tell these blatant stories, basically lies about, who LeBron James would help, what teams wanted LeBron James. Like if it was something legit, if these teams really wanted LeBron and LeBron worked hard like that, then Rich Paul wouldn't have to make up these stories, or come out and lie like this. Like you never saw Kobe Bryant, his agent lie and say, Kobe Bryant, uh, like these teams are interested in Kobe or Kobe is this or Kobe is that. You never seen Mike Jordan or Magic or Bird. Like none of their agents do that, right? Anytime an agent says something, and these guys never went public, but anytime these agents said anything about their client, everybody knew it was true, right? Because all these guys worked and they demonstrated on the court. And so if you Falk, I forgot Michael Jordan agent first name. I think it's Richard Falk. But if you Michael Jordan agent, you don't have to come out and make stories up about Mike because Mike demonstrated, on the court. So that's and again, I say that not to let Rich Paul off the hook, but LeBron James, man, is just, he's not really giving Rich Paul anything to work with, and so Rich Paul had to, and it's just like in politics, like when people come out and speak for Donald Trump, saying things that they know are not true, but you have to say it because your boss put you out there in front of that podium, and so everybody know that what you're saying is not true, but your boss wants you to say it. So that's and Rich Paul is in the same position as whoever, like when Donald Trump had people speak up for him, everybody know that what that speaker is saying is not true. Same thing. Only one is talking about politics and the other is talking about basketball. But here we go with Ric Bucher and what he said. And Ric Bucher he never lies about LeBron James.
I wouldn't come back to this if there weren't so much reaction in my previous episode and my assessment of LeBron James' value as a free agent at 41 years of age. Most of you saw it as a common sense view, not requiring particularly unique insight, but simply reading the circumstances and situation. Others, mostly LeBron fans, I'm guessing, quickly pointed to the greaseboard tutorial his agent, Rich Paul, gave on his podcast to make it seem as if LeBron were still a hot commodity. Or ESPN saying LeBron is sifting through his choices as if he has an array of options. One of those choices, according to Rich and ESPN, was Philadelphia. Or is Philadelphia? Rich going on about how attractive they are with the addition of Jaylen Brown, almost insinuating that the Sixers went and got Brown to enhance their chance of landing LeBron.
See, I mean, and it's all just not true. It's not true. If LeBron James had value like that, and well, let me let him go ahead and finish. But if LeBron James had value like that, then they would be these teams would be recruiting LeBron, and publicly they would be making moves. So they could have room and the money to bring LeBron in, but they're not doing that. And so Rich Paul has to lie about these people bringing, about LeBron's his worth.
How much LeBron could do mentoring VJ Edgecombe and teaching Joel Embiid about his health and fitness habits. How much LeBron loves his fellow clutch client, Tyrese Maxey. And how obviously LeBron could provide the Sixers with an element they desperately need as far as leadership and postseason experience. It was practically an infomercial or a live pitch to the Sixers and their fans. Did LeBron's representation make public pleas back in 2010 about how perfect he would be for a variety of teams? No.
Yeah, and see, that's a good point. They're making public pleas now because LeBron James they don't have any leverage, and which I think when you're Rich Paul and you're dealing with these organizations, management, and they not buying into this anyway. So I don't really get the point of Rich Paul throwing saying this stuff on his podcast when everybody know that it's not true. And so my thing is, all right, if Rich Paul is making these statements and all these organizations know that it's not true, then is this just for clicks and views? And so, and if it is only for clicks and views, then what'll happen is this the way LeBron James, like his post career is going to be? You know what I mean? Whereas though I don't get it. I don't get it. So let me get back to what Ric Bucher was saying though.
Teams were putting together elaborate presentations to make to LeBron as to why he should join them. None of that is going on here. Rich is pitching his client to teams. Teams are not pitching why LeBron should join them. Yet every media outlet parroted Rich's remarks as if they were gospel. Except that the Sixers used their mid-level exception to sign Dean Wade.
And let me say this. All right, so if all these teams, if all the if they're parroting what Rich Paul said as if it was gospel, then that means that LeBron James his value to the league is not basketball. His value to the league is the fact that he brings clicks and views. That's not a good sign for basketball. Like if that's your thing, basketball, then that is where your value is, not clicks and views, because LeBron James is on his way out. And when you're not in the league anymore, won't be no need for these organizations to have clicks and views, like from LeBron James or about LeBron James. They'll be on to the next story, the next narrative, right? And so LeBron James, in my opinion, just like he's running out of tricks, and he's looking desperate.
And had to get creative to sign Anthony Simons to a 2-year, $12 million deal, leaving them with 2 roster spots and only minimum contracts to fill them. If it was indeed LeBron choosing where to go, and the Sixers were one of the teams hoping to be chosen, don't you think they'd leave themselves options to offer something more than the last 2 roster spots and a minimum contract? It sounds like, at best, a take-it-or-leave-it scenario. Would they shoehorn LeBron and Bronny to fill the last 2 spots? If that's your idea of everybody wants him, it's going to be LeBron's choice where he goes, have at it. Does he still have value? Absolutely, especially if he's willing to sign a minimum contract. But this is what...
And again, think about this. LeBron James, wherever he go, and that's why I think Cleveland have the upper hand in this, right? Because wherever he go, he's going to have to take a massive pay cut, sign a minimum contract. And these teams are going to make a boatload of money off of LeBron James. And that's another thing that I think is holding LeBron James up, because LeBron James know that if they go there, wherever he goes, they're going to make a boatload of money because they're going to promote this as LeBron James's retirement tour. And that's going to generate a whole lot of interest. And if you give LeBron James $3 million, you bring his son to your organization too, and you give him a couple $1 million, and they're going to make hundreds of millions of dollars off of LeBron James. So LeBron James want a piece of that pie. That's what I think is holding up this whole while LeBron James is taking his time making that decision. You know, these teams right now, I think, are low. What LeBron might consider lowballing him, but everybody's just made it. You know, they're not gonna invest anything beyond this year into LeBron James, like giving him a big, massive pay. LeBron know that there's gonna be a lot of money out there generated, but he's not in a position where he's gonna be able to get it. He is not going to be in a position where he don't have the leverage, whereas though he can access that money, whereas though the teams do, you know, and Cleveland already said they don't have a lot of money. So yeah, that's my take on it. Really, basically, I just don't think. I think this partnership between Rich Paul and LeBron James, man, they not Rich Paul not giving a lot back to LeBron James, and LeBron James not giving him a lot to work with. So, and Ric Bucher, you know, he just being honest about it though. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And I'm gonna check y'all out in the next video. Peace.